All right, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I want to show you another one of my favorite spots on Koh Samui, Nathon. Nathon Beach and the surrounding area has some of the best food, in my opinion, on the island. None more interesting than my first stop, a 73-year-old Hainanese shop house specializing in some of the most unique fried rice you're likely to find in Thailand. Now, this place made it onto the list of the top 80 best local foods in Thailand 2020. So I'm so excited to show you this place. I'll also take you down to the beachfront to my favorite coffee shop in the area. Let's go. But before I get stuck into the food, I just want to say a big thank you to the sponsor of today's video, Lawrence Smart of Builder Shop in Sydney. If you need a shop fitted out, kitted out, Lawrence is your man. Thank you so much, Lawrence, for your generous financial support of the channel. Guys, I could not do this without you. So Lawrence, this one is for you. Pui Yok seems to be my kind of place. Old school Chinese, Hainanese, 73-year-old shop house passed down through the generations, serving up the craziest looking rice I've ever seen in my life. Look at this, look at the color on this, bright pink, and you would be forgiven for thinking that maybe this is done with food coloring, but no, I told you this place was special, didn't I? And I want to show you exactly why. All right, so let's have a look at the fried rice. So this is Khao Pad Moo Daeng. So red pork. I've also got a Kuay Teow, obviously. So red pork. And this is homemade red pork. So look at the color of this rice, guys. Never seen rice this color in Thailand in my life. I'm told that actually they only sell this on Koh Samui. I'm not sure how true that is, but I've only seen this in here and one other place. Egg looks to be cooked perfectly. Oh, look at the goo on that. Well, first of all, the egg is absolutely cooked to perfection. Right, that was delicious, but I do think it needs a bit of a pik nam pa, so I'll throw a bit of this on. Can't really have an egg in Thailand without pik nam pa. I got a bit of moo krob, I didn't see that. So I'm gonna try and get a bit of everything, get some moo krob, get some egg, some of those chilies, the rice. Oh yes, I should have known when they said they had Khao Moo Daeng that I'd be getting some crispy pork. That is unreal. Goes so well with the fried rice and that rich egg yolk. So on top of the dishes being really interesting in here, I actually learned a little bit of Samui history. So I was talking to Pa Niao again, and she was telling me that when she was younger, there was no road. So the main road where the front of the shop is, that used to be the back of the house. When you go to the back of the house now, the back of the shop, because this is like a house, it's like an old antique house. There's pictures all over the wall and looks like they're having like half a jumble sale at the back. You go out the back, that used to be the front of the shop, and she said that it was the only shop here, it was the only restaurant here, and it used to look directly over to the sea. Now there's more houses in the way, so you can't see the sea, it's just like a little back street, but I'll show you the sea in a minute. And this main road, with the big sea and the Tesco's and all that stuff, that wasn't here. So just shows you how much Samui's developed just in like the last 50 odd years. So Auntie was also telling me about the colour of the rice and how she gets it this colour. She uses a homemade tomato sauce that she makes herself. And also you've got the red coming off of the Moo Daeng. And a lot of people think that Moo Daeng is coloured with food colouring. And a lot of the times these days it is. But traditionally in these old school Hainanese institutions, they'll be using tau yi, which is red fermented bean curd. If you're not familiar with what that is, basically it's red tofu, and how they make it red is with red yeast rice. And red yeast rice is a Chinese tradition, and it's the yeast off of white rice. They mix it with something, I'll put the name of it over the top, I can't remember the actual scientific name for it, but it produces these red yeast rice puffs. And you can use this to make anything red. On top of that, it's got health benefits like lowering cholesterol, lowering blood pressure, etc., etc. But that is what makes traditional Moo Daeng Daeng. Right, onto the Tom Yum. And the Tom Yum in here, as you'd expect, served with that barbecue red pork, We've got some fish cake, some moo daeng, some moo ding, bouncy pork, so pork mince just made into a little patty with a bit of flour, some toasted peanuts. I've gone senlek noodles. I actually didn't ask what noodles I was going to get, so. And then we've got a sweet and sour broth. Try this soup first with nothing in. That's good. It's not too sweet, savoury. Really, really good stock. Nice and sour. Got a nice bit of kick, bit of spice from the dried chilli. Of course, we're going to add a little bit more because I need a little bit more sour and a little bit more spicy. All right, soup is a little bit sweet, so I'm going to throw in some Pik Nam Som just to sort of balance it out. And a bit of Pik Bon. All right, let's try that now. All right, so that's perfect for me. Now, guys, I know a lot of you have been telling me on the DMs on Instagram that now you are pimping up your own soups, which you never used to do before. So I'm proud of you guys. Continue to flavour Thai food the way you want it, because all Thai people have different palates, and they all my friends argue about whether something's too sweet, too salty. Oh, it's no, it's perfect. The other one will say, no, it's not perfect. So that's what these are for, guys. That's what these are for, to tweak it to your own taste. All right, so Moo Daeng. Alloy. It's very, very lean without being dry. Got a bit of sweetness, and like I say, that bright orange colour coming from that fermented red bean curd. So in both bowls, the star of the show has been the meat. Like, these are really, really good. The moo ding, bouncy pork. And that is very, very bouncy, as the name suggests. Too many people just use a packet mix these days for this, but you can actually see here like the little pieces of pork fat running through it. Very well seasoned, really, really peppery. That's a bit of me. So for me, I'm not really sure what else you'd want from a bowl of noodles. Spicy, sour, sweet, salty. Everything you want from a Thai bowl of noodles, and 73 years of expertise in each bowl. Bye, baby. Bye. So why do I like Nathon so much, you ask? Well, for me, it's just got more of a local feel. A bit like Maret that we went to the other day. This whole side of the island has a lot more of a local feel than, say, Chawang or Lamai or even Bo Put, which is just pretty much just pure hotels, Western restaurants. You've got a few Thai restaurants thrown in, but the majority of it is like Western restaurants or Thai restaurants catering for Westerners. French bakeries, Italian restaurants, which is all great. If you want Western food, that's the place to hit. But for me, this has just got more of like a southern Thai town feel to it. Like you drive through, you've still got like the wooden houses, the old school architecture. You've got a market in the middle, a fresh market. I love the beach here as well. There's not much of a beach, but what there is on this whole coast, I love, which I'll show you in a sec when we go to my favorite coffee shop. But yeah, so yeah, I think there's a little something for everyone here. The only thing is a little bit isolated, and a lot of people have been DMing me, asking me how I got here. Did I get the plane down to Surat Thani and then the bus and then the boat, or did I drive down here? And the truth is I flew with Bangkok Airways straight into Koh Samui. So easy, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that at the coffee shop.
Freezing and trees start to bolt, and I don't wanna be sitting alone in a room that's just filled with my soul. And so I came to this place.
What a coffee that is, by the way. Here, Slow Bar and Coffee. I'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a sec. I want to tell you about the flight over here with Bangkok Airways. Now, if you've been to Samui before, you'll know that the only flights coming in and out of Samui are with Bangkok Airways. So It's the easiest, the most convenient and comfortable way to get to Koh Samui, but it's also by far the most expensive. Is it worth paying the extra? I'll let you decide. For me, it's going to be very difficult after flying with them again for the first time in a few years. Incidentally, they're the first airline I ever flew with in Thailand up to Chiang Mai, but it's going to be a lot more difficult to go back to getting the Air Asia or the Nok Air flight down to Surat Thani than a bus or a taxi, an hour and a half to the pier, then waiting at the pier, and then getting the ferry, which incidentally just left from the pier here behind me, the Sea Tram ferry. If I was a solo traveller, I could do that, no problem. I'd probably drive to Surat Thani, drive onto the ferry, bring the car over here. But with a family on a strict timescale, like we were only meant to be here for 4 days. We've ended up staying 7, but we're meant to be here for 4 days, and I did not want to spend 2 of those days traveling. So for me, if you've got the money, it's worth paying the extra just to get here. It's comfortable, it's clean, much more legroom than a normal domestic flight. Not that it really matters, it's only 50 minutes, but it is a pro. You get fed on the plane, nothing to write home about, but you do get some food and a drink. You get to use a lounge, the Bangkok Airways lounge at Suvarnabhumi. So you can get to the airport early, check your bags in. Obviously you get checked luggage, and just chill out in the lounge. You've got Wi-Fi, tea, coffee, soft drinks, some snacks. I didn't have any snacks, but the other bonus is when you land in Samui Airport, it's like a little hut. It's like a bus station. It's not like an international airport. You literally come off the plane, your bags are there already, you get your bags, you leave. We had a car company with a car waiting for us at the airport, and then you're like 5 minutes to Bopot or 20 minutes to Lamai, Chawang, coming down the other side where we have Mae Nam, 20 minutes as well. So it's such an easy island, and it's such an easy way to get to the island. I would recommend it if you have the extra cash. And talking about car companies, we've had 2 cars off this same company in a week because we had to give our first car back when we extended. He came and dropped another one round. They have been fantastic. You can just pay them the deposit in cash or a bank transfer rather than putting it in your credit card and waiting like 2 weeks to get it back. Speaks perfect English. You can just WhatsApp them. Highly recommend them. So I will stick links with their car company in the description box below. I get no commission for that whatsoever. But yeah, guys, I just wanted to let you know how I got here because a lot of you have been asking, and definitely get onto that car company, and I will stick links to Bangkok Airways in the description box below, and you can check them out and check out the prices for yourself. I have no affiliation with Bangkok Airways whatsoever. These are just my personal thoughts. Mwah! So obviously I've visited a few different coffee shops while I've been on the island for a week, but for me, here has probably been the best straight standard coffee walk-in order. Don't pick your beans, you just get what they give you. Here, slow coffee bar. There's one here in Nathon. There's another one down in Bopot. And both are excellent, really care about their coffee, and it's a good spot. This actual beachfront where here Slow Bar is, for me, is the perfect beach because you've got a promenade, you've got like a little road running down the side, a little walkway, loads of restaurants on the beachfront. You've got a couple of brunch options. You've got another place called Kuay Teow, which does Thai food and Western food. You've got a place called Kob, which is really popular. And like I say, you've got all the authentic food in the town. It is a port, so you've got all the ships here. It's not the best beach I've ever seen sand-wise, but you know me, I don't really like sand anyway, so I prefer to look out on the sea. It's a bit more of a Thai family-orientated beach, which is nice to see. Come out around 5 o'clock, pretty busy. Everyone's out crabbing, they've got their buckets and stuff, so it's really nice. Peaceful, quiet, and you know what, I absolutely love this side of Koh Samui. I've never been to Koh Samui and enjoyed it. I don't like Chawang, I don't like Lamai, really. It's just a little bit too busy for me, too built up and too many hotels, etc, etc. But this side, I'm not sure why more people don't come here. Or maybe they do and I just don't know about it. But yeah, for me, the West Coast is the best coast. So I'm going to do a big roundup of Koh Samui when I get back to Bangkok. Tell you all of my favourite bits and pieces, the pros, the cons, should you come here, should you not. But for now, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope I showed you a new dish that you hadn't seen before, and I hope you like this little Nathon walk around. All right, thanks again, Lawrence, everyone that's been generously donating to help keep these videos going and keeping this channel afloat. I love you all. I love you all for watching, sharing and subscribing, and I will see you back in Bangkok.